So my name is Jenna, and I am one part of Slowly Wilding, along with my wife, Kath.
Hello.
Hello.
Luna. And Bodhi.
Hello.
Oh my God, that was cute. So we are a full-time van life and travel family, and we have been on the road now for 1,035 days, to be exact. During this time, which is almost 3 years, we have done quite a lot. We have converted 2 vehicles. We have birthed our second child, Bodhi. We have visited 12 countries. We've swam in lochs. We have climbed mountains. We've walked with reindeers. I don't know. We've surfed in Portugal. We've been gill scrambling. As a family, we have done a lot, and we've made some incredible memories. We started building our third van during lockdown in 2020. I mean, if I'm honest, most people seem to be building vans in 2020, and everything was expensive. The parts were expensive. The vans were expensive. And the reason why we were building our third van is because our previous 2 vans had been stolen. But again, let's not dwell on that. I'm sure, I promise. But we knew that this van build needed to be different, because by this point we had Luna. So we knew that this needed to be a family van conversion rather than your more typical van conversion. 2 secs, I need technical support. Technical support, please. Oh no, I don't. I just need to learn how to use a mouse, guys. Okay. So we were building this van, and it was a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter, and we were converting it so that we could get away more, that we could do more weekends away, we could go on cheaper holidays, all those things that we wanted to do as a family. And more trips to the seaside, which for me is very, very important. But at the same time that we were converting this van, something else was happening. We were trying for our second child. And I feel like Bodhi sitting here is a little bit of a giveaway to the end of this conversation, but, we were. But after over a year and a half of trying to conceive our second child, 6 rounds of IVF, and all the emotional turmoil that comes with this, we were, fair to say we were very stressed. We were living in the New Forest at the time, which, although it's beautiful, is really, really expensive. And I remember saying to Kath, we were sat at our kitchen table, and I was like, do you know what? This is ridiculous. We are going through all of this to try and complete our family, and we are stressed. It's not working. It's costing us a ridiculous amount of money, and we are converting this van in our garden. I was like, quit your job. Let's get rid of the house. Let's sell all our stuff, and let's move into the van full time. And that's exactly what we did. It was hard. We went from living in a 4-bedroom, semi-detached house in the middle of the forest to then living in a van. And so the amount of stuff we had to get rid of was a lot. But, it was definitely worth it. So on July the 4th in 2021, no surprise, it was Independence Day, which I like that fact, but we moved into our van. And then just 3 months after living in the van, in a most beautiful car park just outside Edinburgh, surrounded by pine trees, we found out that we were pregnant. So moving into the van really did eliminate all the stress and help with that. But that year, those 9 months, we spent with Kath, Luna, and I, and it really was the year that changed everything. It was amazing. We travelled the coast of Wales, we went up to Scotland, we bimbled around quite a lot, and we went to go and see loads of our friends and everything, and we didn't realise that on that day when we moved into a van, sorry, getting heckled by my own daughter. We didn't realise on that day that we moved into a van, actually how much it would shape who we were as a family and what we wanted to do. And then obviously 9 months later, Bodhi Rome came along. You going to say hi, Bodhi? Hi. This is the boy that was literally born into van life. His middle name is Rome, and the boy was made to roam. He's never had a bricks and mortar home in his whole life, and during his 19 months on this planet, he has been to 12 different countries. We took him to live in Asia when he was 4 months old. I mean, we took Luna as well. So we went to go and live in Asia, and this traveling, this van life, everything is really part of who we are as a family. So we have done, as a family of 3 in a van, we have done as a family of 4 in a van, pregnancy in a van, and having babies, children, toddlers. So it's fair to say that we know a thing or two about converting vans that are suitable for families. But we have converted 2 very different vans. Our first one was a long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter, so that's your more traditional van. And then our second one, which is the one that we live in at the moment, is a Mercedes Vario library bus. So a lot bigger, and it is a 7.5-ton bus, so it does need a different license and things like that. But it does give us some luxuries that you don't get when you have a traditional size or a smaller van. As much as I'm going to talk about van builds, I am not going to talk about insulation, vapor barriers, how to do a 12-volt system, or any of that, because basically I don't really know. But what I am going to talk about is the things that are specific to a family van build. Yes, you need all that stuff in there. You need, to actually kit your van out. But you also need to think about extra seats, extra beds, storage, and whether you need a toilet or shower in your van. Forgot to look at my notes. So first of all, I want to say about the seats. Depending on the size of your family, you may or may not need to add additional seats in. So in our Mercedes Sprinter, we did the seating, quite a traditional seating, where we put extra seats behind the drivers, and then we also swiveled the seats around at the front to create kind of a lounge area. And the things that we were looking for were... was things like an ISOFIX, so that our car seats were as safe as possible, and also comfort versus safety. And for us, safety, obviously, well, hopefully with anyone, safety is absolutely paramount. When we were looking for seats for this one here, for the Mercedes Sprinter, we actually struggled because we wanted to put these extra seats in, but we had also put a window next to where they were going to go. A lot of extra seats that you put in have your seat bar that goes up onto the van. So we ended up going for Ford Transit Custom Connect seats, and they had the whole seat belt in with the seat unit as well, which made it really, really good for going in that space. With the Vario, so the one that we're in at the moment, we again have the luxury of that little bit more extra space, and our seats go at the front there. We have used a metal frame, that's the word I wanted. We've used a metal frame that is bolted into the bus, and we don't take these car seats out. We are full-time in the bus, so actually, what would we do with the car seats if you took them out? So we have designated that area, and we also don't have cushions on this. And it's something that they either get it or they think it's a little bit strange. But the reason why we don't have cushions on it is it's safer for the car seats. The car seats are then on a solid piece of ply rather than on a cushion that we have designed for comfort. So if you have that luxury, and I do realize it's a luxury for most van builds, it is something that we would definitely recommend. Again, beds are going to vary depending on a few things. I mean, how many children, how comfortable you want to be, and whether you ever want to sleep again. Because we co-sleep with our children, and I don't think we've slept in 5 years. With any van conversion, you have the choice of a fixed bed versus like a sofa bed setup. And for me, with children, I cannot think of anything worse than having to build my bed when you're trying to put the kids to bed. And for those people that do it, absolutely hats off to you because I don't know how you do it. So I always say that a fixed bed is almost essential for having children in a van. When you are building the beds and whatever beds you choose to go for, I think you need to think about not just now, because, you know, they do grow, and how long you're hoping to have the van for, and what kind of, like, are they going to be sleeping in your bed forever? Are they going to have their own beds? You know, think into the future as well, because that will mean that you don't then have to redesign your van 20 million times. In our Vario at the moment, this is the bed system that we have. So we actually have a king-size bed and then 2 bunk beds next to it. Bodhi is on the bunk bed, but on the same height as us, which means that we can feed him and comfort him during the night. And then the end of our bed pulls out. So we do have to put a couple of cushions in, but not build a whole bed. So storage. And one of the things we do have is a lot of storage, because children do come with a lot of stuff. But they don't need as much stuff as you think they do, honestly. They are very happy with stones and sticks. If you have a fixed bed, which obviously I'm quite a big advocate for a fixed bed, you do then get the garage underneath, which is where you can put a whole host of crap that you don't want anyone to see. And then we have a toy and we have a play den underneath which they can access all their books and everything as well. And for them to be able to access their books and not have to ask you for things, one is, you know, less headache for you. Oh, drop that. And 2, it's really good for them to be able to choose their books and choose their toys that they want to play with. I'm going to go against, like, van life tradition here and say that, oh my God, I hate packing bags, right? And everyone seems to obsess over packing bags for vans, but I hate them. And yeah, so they do save space, and I do get it. But when you're trying to put away a load of kids' clothes, I think packing bags are a right pain in the bum. And we do have some, but if I could get rid of them all, I really would. And then finally, a shower and a toilet. Again, this comes down to space, comes down to how much you would use it. But, and this goes for anyone, whether you've got kids or not in a van, kind of, is do you want a shower, do you want a toilet? But we use our shower area, and it is a shower area because we don't actually have a shower in there at the moment. We use our shower area for a lot of different things. In our last van, we actually had a shower. You can wash muddy kids off. You can wash dirty clothes in there. We use it as a drying space. We actually, Luna was in cloth nappies for a long time, and we used it as a drying room as well. And yeah, and potty training, nighttime wheeze, things like that, like depending where your children are in that stage, having them have access to a toilet when you're trying to potty train, or you're trying to, like, not give them a fear about a toilet is really important. And it is most likely the only door in your van that you can shut. And my God, that is joyous. Like, I go in for showers, and we don't even have a shower at the moment. I just shut the door and stand in the dark for a bit. Hello, baby. And then also a reminder that it doesn't need to be perfect. So a year ago, we were parked just outside there, and it's not a very good photo, but this is how our bus looked. We had a mattress on the floor, our clothes were in a cupboard, not even a cupboard, what am I talking about? Our clothes were in a box, we had wires hanging everywhere. The wires weren't live, by the way, but this looked like this. And yet still we went on adventures, and yet still we had this, like, connection as a family. So I don't really recommend just a mattress in the back of a van, but it doesn't need to be perfect. If you're looking at all these vans on Instagram and everything, Luna, shh. So when you're looking at all these beautiful vans on Instagram and everything, do not be put off. If you're converting your own van, it is okay to do it in parts. It's okay for, to just get out there and have fun as a family. If you scan this QR code, shameless plug, if you scan this QR code, you'll go through to the YouTube video of what our van actually looked like this time last year, and it was not beautiful. But like I said, it is all about everything that you do as a family and the adventures that you go on and the connection that you make. It's been an incredible almost 3 years, 1,035 days, and I can't imagine us going back to anything else. I can't imagine us going back to a bricks and mortar life because, I mean, yes, sometimes I do miss having a hot bath and a toilet that flushes, but also I wouldn't give up the freedom, I wouldn't give up the connection and the time that we spend together as a family for that. Now, doing a bit of a 180 here, that's everything I've got to talk about van conversions. But one of the other questions that we get asked a lot is about how we educate our children. Now, obviously, you've seen Bodhi. He's... the batteries came out. So, obviously, you saw... Thank you. I'm not very good at this. Obviously, you saw Bodhi. He's still really little, and he is very much educated just by wandering around and talking to everybody. But then Luna is 5. So if she was in the UK schooling system, she would be in her first year at school at the moment. But she's not. Thank you so much. So we do something that is called world schooling. It's a little bit like home education, but you do it around the world, and you use travel to educate. So rather than sitting down and talking about, talking about animals in Malaysia, we've actually gone over and had a look at these animals, and we've gone swimming there, and we've lived there for a while. So world schooling is something that I'm really passionate about. I really love it. There's big world schooling communities and big world schooling hubs that happen all over the world. We are meeting friends in Scotland in the summer that we met in Phu Quoc in Vietnam a year ago. So kind of like this whole community is a really, really amazing community. And I do think it's a really great way to educate your children. And then we also get asked whether it's legal. And it is. It's completely legal to home educate your kids. It's completely legal, it's completely safe, and your children are going to be okay. But this kind of like idea that you can educate through life, through travel, through learning about currency conversions, learning about how you are going to, plan your next trip, how you're going to book a flight is, if you want to get from A to B, how are you going to do it? Things like this, and this is how we are going to educate and how we do educate our children at the moment. And just because it was one of the questions that we get asked so much, I just wanted to add that on there. And this is what world schooling looks like. Well, this is what world schooling looks like to us. It is learning about traditional Thai, the Long Krong festival. It is climbing up waterfalls in France. Here we are just off an island off Malaysia, and we've got a book in this one and everything. But it really is, and you can do it, and you can make it completely individualized to you and your child, stroke children. Thank you so much, guys.